Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Engage podcast. I've decided to do something a little bit different. I'm on a Zoom call, and it's kind of like in a training mode that I'm going to pursue here. And this session or this episode is going to address resume. Now, we know, and you've heard, resumes are your marketing tool that you use in order to send out, and the hope is that an employer will respond and say, hey, I like that person. I'd like to invite them in for an interview. And that's essentially what it is. It is to take all of your skills and your experience, package it nicely in a very well formatted resume and send it out. The biggest challenge that I've seen with job seekers is they are not really spending enough time with their resume. They're not really taking the time to really understand how to deploy that resume. And their expectations are very high. That if I send this thing out, they're going to respond to me. And they don't know how to respond when they're not getting the results. I'm hearing horror stories. And the horror stories are, I've sent out 300 resumes and no one's responded. Something is wrong with your resume. Well, why? I spend all this time with my resume. And then when you get into it and you see the resume, you see why. The resume is general. The resumes are not tailored. They are sending it out without following up. There's a whole series of things that have to happen with your resume that a lot of people are not doing, and hence why they're not getting the results. So I'm going to give you in this episode how I go about putting together a resume and how I think you should do it in this very, very competitive job market. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go from there. All right. Now, I want to show you this site. This is one of the sites that I started using early in my career. A lot of people are not aware of this. This is called, we call it ONET, but I think there's a name for it, Occupational Network. And what this is a site, as a matter of fact, it's a federal site funded by the Department of Labor. And it has every occupation that you can think of. It also gives you industry, labor market information. There's a lot of stuff here, okay, for veterans. You just have a lot of stuff here. And it also directs you to training resources. So let me just show you something real quick. If you're looking at rapid growth occupations, look at here. Now these are just projections. Okay. So bright outlook occupations, the most numerous job openings. Let's click here. Look at amusement and recreation attendants, baristas, bartenders, cashiers, clinical nurse specialists, cooks, electricians, dishwashers. So this runs the whole gamut of careers or occupations that are in demand. New and emerging occupations. Blockchain engineers, digital forensic analysts, information security engineers, penetration testers. Let me look at this real quick. Okay, evaluate networks. Yeah, had to do something with security, internet security. Okay, so this is the government's not definition, but this is their site that they kind of give you labor market information. Okay. And so this is a tool that I use. So when I was coaching people with their resume, what I would do is I would, if it was a occupation that I didn't know much about, I would always run it through this. And so let's say, for example, I put in dental assistant. Okay. Now I know what a dental assistant is. Okay. Dental assistant. All right. So this would allow me to learn overall what the position was or is. And then I'm able to take a look at the task. So it has 5 here. So when I was sitting with someone, helping them, or before I started helping them with their resume, and I wanted to understand what they did, I would print this off and I would have them highlight all of the skills or the task that they did in their previous job. So if I got this back and only 2 of these were selected, or 3, I'm saying that's not really what you do. That's not, in other words, that may have been the title for the company that you left, but that's not what the definition of what it is, of the definition of what you did as far as what is generally accepted. Okay. So sometimes you're working in a occupation, you think it's one thing, but that's not universally known. It's known by another name. Okay. So these are all of the general tasks that a dental assistant will most likely do. And then it talks here about the technology and the skills. Okay, you need accounting software, email, browser, medical software. This may be proprietary software. These are probably dental proprietary software. Office suite, Microsoft Office, spreadsheet, word processing, work activities. It goes even further. This thing kind of breaks this stuff down. And you're able to get a better picture of what you do in ways that you probably never even thought about, because you get so into the grind of actually doing the work, you don't really compare notes. And this is a way that you can just look at this and say, oh, or jog your memory. Oh, I did that. And you're able to take some of the thinking out of it. So in this discussion that we're going to have here, I'm going in a different direction. So let's say, and I found this job description. There's an office receptionist, administrative assistant for Healthcare Systems of America. They're located in Glendale, $20 an hour. Okay. Now, how I dissect job descriptions, let me use this handle over here because I'm getting all. I'm reading this whole thing. Okay. So I'm looking at the road. We're looking for a sharp, reliable, friendly receptionist to be the face and the voice of our office. You'll be the first point of contact for employees, visitors, and clients, ensuring everyone feels welcome, informed, and supported from the moment they walk through the door. Listen to that magic. They're laying it out to you. So guess what? I'm thinking my summary, my career objective, my summary is going to encapsulate a lot of this stuff. This isn't about answering phones. Listen, they're telling you it's about creating a smooth, professional, positive experience for everyone who interacts with our organization. And if you have worked for any organization, or if you have a business, or let's say you work in the back and you're trying to generate sales and you want people, people who are coming to your door can potentially be a customer. You want that warm face. As an administrative assistant, if I'm going for this position, I'm going to give them exactly what they asked for. Okay. So what will you do? What you'll do? Greet, answer phones, manage incoming mail deliveries and office supplies, schedule appointment and maintain conference room calendars, assist with basic administrative tasks, run occasional local errands for office needs. Then it says what they're looking for. Now, this, by the way, is a good job description. Now, in this area right here, I'm thinking skills. So, 1 year of experience, receptionist or administrative role. Bonus if you have healthcare background. Strong communication and customer service skills. Professional demeanor and appearance. Ability to multitask and stay organized in a busy environment. Proficiency in Microsoft Office, more specific Word, Outlook, and Excel. Valid driver's license because you're going to be driving around, getting stuff, running errands. Dependable, detail-oriented, always a step ahead. So they want someone who is very proactive, okay? And it tells you why you'll enjoy working there and all that good stuff. So this is a good start for me to begin structuring a good, solid resume. So let me just tell, what I came up with. Initially, I had James, but then I moved it to James. So that's why it's labeled that way. Okay. So here's my header. Name, address, phone number, email address. Here's their LinkedIn. Now in the future, we're going to talk about LinkedIn and the power of LinkedIn. But look at this. Now, in today's time, you may not use your whole address. So in this case, I'll probably do something like this. Let me see. Bam, here it is. I'll probably do something like that. Name, address, but in this case, the address is removed. We're just using the city. May not even use the zip code, okay? I may take that off. Email, phone number, and LinkedIn. Okay, now, look at my objective. Administrative assistant, administrative professional with experience in fast-paced environments, providing high-level customer service to patients, vendors, and colleagues, known for creating a professional, warm, and welcoming atmosphere. Going back to the job description, recognizing the importance of first impressions in client retention and business growth. Magic. This is Disney. This is really Disney. In other words, I like Disney. I like the cartoons. Heard some bad stuff about Disney just last night, but I like the Disney. Okay. So I'm trying to create Disney. Based on this job description, this objective embodies that. Okay. So in other words, if someone put their eyes on this, just the 5, 6 to 10, maybe 12 seconds that they're going to use, they're going to go through this process looking, and the goal is to hook them in about 6 to 10 seconds. I've just hooked them. I've kind of restated and served back to them what it is that they're looking for. Okay. Now, remember I was talking about, because a resume, this from this part here, this was my objective. Okay. Here is some of the stuff within the body of the resume. Here's where the experience come in, those skills, most importantly, the skills. So this is where this stuff comes from. This skills and competencies, excellent communication, file management, database management, calendaring scheduling, office and event coordination, multi-line, highly reliable and dependable, Microsoft Office time management. And again, I threw this in just because they gave it to me. This is bonus stuff. This stuff is in the resume. So all I've done is restated, repackaged, and sold it back to them in the form of a proposal, which is my resume. Then here I get into the positions that I've held. Staples Clinic. Now the bonus is that I have medical healthcare experience. And all of this, I'm just coming out and how did I, as far as answering the phone, answered, screened, and routed high volume phone calls promptly and accurately using a multi-line phone system. Managed incoming and outgoing mail, packages, and deliveries while coordinating with internal departments. Schedule appointments and maintain conference room and office calendar using Outlook. Look at this. I'm going through and I'm just packaging and just giving them everything that they've asked for. They're the customer. I am the vendor, or I am the person, the independent contractor or the business, the talent that they're wanting to hire to solve a problem. Okay. This person worked at BJ's as a hostess and a server. What does that say? Customer service, making people feel warm, directing them through the menu. So when they come to the table and say, well, what's good? This person has that skill. Let me tell you what's good. Let me give you 3 options. Making them feel warm. Walking them to the table. Are you comfortable? Okay, great. On to the next. So customer service, making them feel welcome, giving them all the skills back based on what they've given to me. Now, training and education. I want to make sure that my training and my education are fit for the position. Basket weaving, probably not. Automotive, cosmetology, depends. Especially if I didn't use it. If it were part of my career, I would probably put it in there. But I'm talking about all the extra stuff. Let's say real estate certification. It's not here unless you worked in that environment. Real estate, the question I'm asking, reviewing the resume is this person interested in this position, or are they trying to get into real estate? Okay. If this person is part-time working in real estate, yes, they're going to be working here, but do I have to worry about them doing their business while they're on the job? So when an employer or potential employer when they're looking at your resume, you have to keep those things in mind. You have to think like the person who is going to be receiving the service. So when I'm putting together a resume, I'm taking a look at these. First, this is where I would probably build my master resume. And this is probably the 3-pager. But this resume, I'm putting here, this resume based on this job description is where I parse it. I start to take that 2 or 3 page resume and I start to pare it down so that it accurately addresses the need of the business or the employer. This is magic. This is Disney. The rank, when Tinkerbell goes across the castle and drop all the little trinkets or the little glitter, that's what this is. This is magic. See how accommodating this resume is and complementary to this position. Now, Just because you have a great resume does not necessarily mean that it's going to get responded to. So I'm going to focus this resume specifically on this healthcare company. And I'm going to find a way to follow up, send off my resume. I'm going to develop a source within the company to follow up on the resume. Because I want to know that my efforts were seen, and it would be good for me to know that that door is closed so that I can move on somewhere else. A lot of people are sending their resumes out. They're throwing their resumes across the wall like a grenade and hoping that something blows up or hoping that they get a response. In a crowded marketplace, very competitive marketplace, you're probably not going to get a response. That's why the importance is having a strategy to follow up. Now, let's talk about real quick before I get out of here. How do employers hire? First, they hire based on who they know. So if a position is available, they're saying, who do I know that can do this position personally? Maybe through a colleague, they know someone. They'll reach out to David, who works over at such and such hospital, and say, hey, listen, do you know someone? I have a position available. Do you know someone who can do this? And if if he doesn't have anyone in his network that he can convey to the employer, then the employer has to look within this organization. Is there anyone here who can do this administrative position? Oh, Susie, she was the intern that worked here 6 months ago. Let me check and see if she's still available. So when employers are hiring, they want to hire someone that they know, that they already know their abilities, their weaknesses, and their strengths, or they're relying on the reference of someone within their network. Keep in mind, they haven't even gotten to the resumes yet. So if they can't get them by knowing someone that they can just think about, they try to reach out to someone, they try to look within their organization, but really they try to look within the organization first before they go out. If they can't find anyone that way, they're then going to ask people within their organization, do you know someone that can do this? Because they're going on the strength of people who know what the work is, because they work there every day. And then they, in their mind, oh, I know someone who could do this job. Because if it's a toxic environment, they're not going to refer their friends. They're like, no, I don't know anyone. Okay? So I want you to keep those things in mind. Keep those things in mind. I'm giving you my best here. So by the time they get to resumes, they've already combed the most proximately close resources or avenues or relationships that they have. And then on from there, it's really about, now we can look at resumes. Now we can go to LinkedIn. Now we can go to Indeed. So that's part of the challenge as to why you're not getting a response. And the other part is you're not following up. Especially when I'm counseling young people and they want to go work for Taco Bell or Cane's, the popular one, or Chick-fil-A. I say to them, get on some nice clothes, where you're presentable, a belt so your pants are held up. Um, be presentable. Go into the place and ask to meet the manager. Shake his or her hand. Hello, how you doing? My name is Daisy. I live in the area. I am very interested in working for Chick-fil-A. I'm in high school. I love hospitality. I've had a hospitality customer service class, a work readiness class, and I'm seeking an opportunity. I want to, this will be my first job, and hopefully it will be with Chick-fil-A. Well, Kevin or Susie or Daisy, I said Daisy, we're not hiring. Okay. Well, I'm going to fill out an application. Do you have one here? Oh, no, you have to do that online. Okay, I'll do that. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me. I'll be back next week. And every week, I'm going back to Chick-fil-A. Now, Chick-fil-A may be one in many companies that I go and meet with, but I'll have my round. I'll make my rounds. Chick-fil-A will get a call in person from me. I want it to be where they say, man, this guy's very persistent. Let me give them a chance. Why? Because he keeps or she keeps showing up. Now, when you get into jobs that are high level, you probably wouldn't do it in that way, but there are ways in which to do that. Making a phone call. Sometimes even before I go and apply for a company, I may want to start sourcing to find out who is who. Maybe if it's a public facing organization, I may go in and visit. I may ask for a manager. Hey, how you doing? Even before I know that they're looking for a person, I may go in just to see if they, what they do and if they will be interested in someone with my talent. Email, collect an email and a phone number. And every month I'm going to send an update to that contact that I had the privilege of meeting in person, that I'm looking for work. And guess what? When he gets that email, he may know someone because he's a human resource manager. He may be a part of a human resources organization where there are other human resource professionals. I'm going to engage those individuals until I find work. I may have 10 companies. So how many companies am I applying for? As many as I can follow up on. It's going to save me time. It's going to, because I'm not applying for everything. I'm being very strategic in what I'm applying for. The next time we talk, we're going to talk a little bit about follow-up stuff. I want to get into LinkedIn and the power of LinkedIn. Just like you have with your resume, you want to do the same thing on your LinkedIn. General, be very general. The other thing is, and I'm going to say this is important. Your resume is one part. Your application is another. So when you're applying for a job, don't say, even though you have to attach your resume, don't say, see resume. Take some time, do an application, and your resume just might be part of that application. The other part of that is I'm going to, with this job description, with this link to the Occupational Network, as well as the resume, they're going to be in the description, but I'm going to also put a mock application. And I would encourage you to have this in an electronic, maybe in a Google Drive, so that if you're applying for a job, you're not saying, oh, what did I do here? That information is already ready for you so that you can take the contents of it and put it into your application. So applications are also something that can hurt you if they're not completed appropriately. Okay. I'm telling you, I look at applications and I see resume, or there's too much information in your application. I want my application and my resume to complement one another. And there may be some similar information, but I want them to be very complementary, but also I want them to support what is needed and required in the job description. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking the time to come here. And if you think this is valuable, please share, like the page, share it, and subscribe. Please subscribe. I'd like to keep engaging with you on matters of career and business going forward. Thank you again so much for your time. Let's continue to engage. Until next time, love, peace, and have an incredible Christmas, holiday, all that. Love yourself, love your family, pour love into people, and have love for your community, even your enemies. God bless you.